All right, welcome back. I'm going to continue my 32 and 32 with the Indianapolis Colts. They finished third in their division, just a game ahead of the Houston Texans. That's honestly not saying too much, considering that the past 4 or 5 years they've been in a win now mode. They still should be in a win now mode, considering they still have some decent talent around their defense, offense, special teams, whatever you want to call it. But they have been nothing but a disappointment ever since Andrew Luck retired at the beginning of the 2019-20 season. I still remember to this day, they had a preseason game, and when it comes to preseason games, they don't normally dress the starting players. Obviously, they don't want to get their star guys hurt, so they play like their third, fourth, fifth string guys and see how they do, and if they can make the team, make the cut, whatever the case may be. And I'll still never forget. I can't remember who they were playing at that time, but I just remember seeing Andrew Luck walking off the field. He just had his regular street clothes on. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you imagine if he retired just at the beginning of the season, how much of a blow that would be for the Colts. And sure enough, he announced it, I think, the next day. And I believe they've been cursed ever since. I mean, they had two superstar, if you want to call it, quarterbacks. They obviously had Peyton Manning back in the 90s, 2000s, into the early 2010s. And then obviously they let him go because they thought, well, Andrew Luck's going to be our future quarterback. Only come find out he'd only play about 6 seasons with the team and then hang up the cleats. I'm sure there are a lot of fans that are still bitter about that, but he decided to make a decision for his own self, his personal well-being, and good for him. I can't really nag him on that. But ever since he retired, they've gone through so many different quarterbacks, and they've had nothing but misery. The only time they had success was when they had Philip Rivers for the 2020-2021 season, when he led them to the playoffs. But ultimately, they fell short against the Buffalo Bills in the Super Wild Card round. The very first round or time they had 6 games for the wild card playoffs. But since then, they've had Carson Wentz for the 2021-22 season. That went downhill. They obviously had Matty Ice this past season, and what was expected to be them contending for a spot for a division title, and ultimately it fell absolutely short. They finished with a record of 4-12-1, and towards the end of the season, Ryan actually got benched for the other quarterback. I should have done my homework on this one, so I do apologize for not getting all the facts straight. But to say that, like I said, last season was a disappointment would be a huge understatement, considering they had a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Matt Ryan. So going over a couple of additions and subtractions, they added Samson Ibakam, and he played for stats. Who did he play for last season? The San Francisco 49ers. So he was part of the team that went all the way to the NFC Championship game and fell short. So he's now a member of the Colts. And then the other key addition that the Colts got there was two other ones. Matt Gay, the kicker, a veteran guy. He came over from, where are we? The Los Angeles Rams. I forgot about that. I should have known that, but evidently I didn't. So yeah, they had a veteran kicker in Matt Gay, and then Gardner Minshew was supposed to be the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That went south. So he's been, I think the last couple of seasons, he's been the backup to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. And sure enough, he is. So he's come over. Maybe he can add some veteran, or not a veteran, but he's only been in the league for 4 or 5 years. But maybe he can add a little bit of leadership. I'm not 100% certain if he's their guy. I do believe they have another quarterback in their system as well. But I have to do my homework on that one. And some key subtractions from that team. Stephon Gilmore, I believe, is heading to the Dallas Cowboys, and I am confirmed right on that one. Two other people, Bobby Okersk, the linebacker. He is now a member of the New York Giants. And Paris Campbell, the wide receiver, he is now a member of the New York Giants as well. So they have two key guys on their roster last year that are heading to the Big Apple. So my prediction for this year is I honestly don't know how much better the Colts are going to fare. That division has two pretty good teams in the Jacksonville Jaguars, and as long as the Titans can stay consistent and not blow like 9 games in a row or whatever it is that they did, or however many games they did, I believe the Titans and Jaguars are still going to be the top two teams in that AFC South division. And then with the Colts and the Texans, one of these two teams is going to finish last. It could be the Texans. It might be the Colts. I honestly have no idea. I could be mistaken. The Colts could go on a crazy run, but they just haven't proven anything recently just by adding all these veteran quarterbacks to the roster, hoping that they can get them over the hump. So I don't know how much more their record's going to improve. They might be a 5 or 6 win team, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I just think that they're still kind of half rebuilding, half contending, so they don't really know where they're at, in my opinion. But I'm not a GM, so what do I know? But if I had to make my prediction, I think they might finish third in their division. They could even finish fourth, to be honest with you. And they'd be lucky, in my opinion, if they get 5 or 6 wins on the 2023-2024 schedule. So that's just my 2 cents. But again, anything can happen. Anything can change. Until next time, take care.